Just 6 years ago, Fordham was winless, not in the conference all season, and now they're going to the big dance. They are A-10 champs after shocking the 1-seed Dayton, led by Abigail Corning and Aaron Rooney, and Fordham celebrating their victory right there just a week ago. And Stephanie Gaitley now joins us, and she could celebrate and breathe a sigh of relief. It's been 2 decades since we saw Fordham in the NCAA tournament. And Stephanie, how do you explain a turnaround like this from 6 years ago? You took over 3 years ago to where you guys are today.
You know, it's a big commitment from everyone. I mean, when I first took the job, a lot of people were questioning my sanity, but when I came up and saw all the things that Fordham had to offer on so many levels, I mean, from an administrative standpoint, from the beautiful campus, from the academic reputation, I thought, why not Fordham? Why isn't Fordham successful? And I knew it would take a couple of years. To be honest, in my wildest dreams, I never would expect in year 3 I'd be sitting here saying, you know, that we won the Atlantic 10 championship. But that's a credit to our kids. They were terrific the last couple of years. The foundation was laid, and it's just been a terrific group of kids.
Coach, this is Rebecca. Your players have not played an NCAA tournament, but this is your 8th time coaching in one. How do you get this group ready for a moment that they haven't experienced before?
Hey, Rebecca, that's a great question. I mean, we were fortunate to have the week off because, to be honest, last week they kind of were floating during practice. And so now it's a very, it's a very persistent group. They're a very focused group. Abigail and Aaron completely lead by example, and I think because of the fact that they're very much students of the game, they understand what's at stake. I think that we'll be a very focused group. I mean, obviously, we're going against a very experienced Cal team, and she's done a terrific job, and they've been there before, and that's a big part of it. But, for us, it's, it goes back to my first year when I got in. I was just excited to be there, and I said to the kids, let's not look at just being excited to be there. Let's try to make something happen.
Stephanie, you have a great guard that maybe a lot of people haven't seen or know about, Aaron Rooney from New Zealand. What type of impact does she have on your team?
You know what? It's been such an incredible impact. When I had Aaron, it was funny, when I started off with her at Monmouth, Aaron, was kind of a weak player. I mean, and I laugh now because now she's not only our leading scorer, she's our leading rebounder. And Aaron, we were lucky if Aaron got 2 rebounds a game, and I used to work with her on positioning, and she's like, they're just so much stronger. And what she did is she's a student of the game. She comes in constantly asking, to work extra. She's somebody that's, texting me every other day, when can we work out? She's a throwback. I think she's an old generation kid. Between her and Abigail, Abigail's the hardest working player I think I've ever coached, just because there's no stop. She's like that ever-ready bunny. And then you have Aaron, who's extremely talented, that can kind of hurt you in so many ways. And I think a real characteristic of a great player is somebody that makes other people better, and I think Aaron does a terrific job of that.
Coach, you talked about you don't want to just be happy to be there, but you're going to be in the Farrell Center at Baylor. That's where you play your early round game against Cal. Can you talk about getting your team ready to play? I mean, it's one of the premier arenas, a big crowd there. Can you just prepare them for what they're going to face in that first round game?
You know what, it'd be hard to do. I mean, you try to throughout the year, like we went and played at Penn State, and you try to, create that during your out-of-conference games. And then we were on, ESPN against Dayton, and then, of course, you have the, the A-10 finals. But I don't think anything can quite prepare you for that type of environment. And I think, fortunately, in that first round game, both of us are at a neutral site, and so we'll at least have a feel of what we'll see when Baylor takes the court, in the second game. So, it's one thing to say you'll be ready. It's another thing when you're actually in it. So I'm glad that we'll have a time to kind of take it all in and get a feel from just being around that environment.
Well, Coach, you have the experience, 527 career wins in 28 seasons. Now, back in the day when you were at Richmond, you really could have changed the landscape of basketball. You were recruiting a young superstar in Rebecca Lobo, and you came this close to getting Rebecca Lobo. What was that like in the recruiting process to bring in Rebecca Lobo and change maybe your program? You
know what, when Rebecca visited, you know, and it's funny, she did a TV game when I was coaching at St. Joe's, and she said, "See, you left to take the St. Joe's job." I said, "Well, if you were at Richmond, maybe I never would have left, Rebecca. Did you ever look at it like that?" But the thing I love, Rebecca, she had I mean, not only was Rebecca a terrific player, but, you know, and this is, I'm sure, been said many a time, she's even a better person. Plus, she has an incredible sense of humor. I got to tell you, I love your tweets about your kids. I was cracking up reading some of them, and I'm telling you, it's the sense of humor, it's the type of person. I mean, obviously, I think that would have helped us change the landscape, but obviously, you know, I think she was able to do that for Gino, and obviously her career has, you know, we've seen what's happened because of that, but I feel very fortunate to have been a small part of Rebecca's life back then, and I had a chance to get to know her family and her wonderful, wonderful mom.
Stephanie, thank you. It all comes full circle here on this show.
Yes,
Stephanie, good luck to you against Cal this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.